Why should I practice now? On my worst days, it feels like a monotonous, never-ending present tense, just frozen in time. But on my best days, it feels like an opportunity to recalibrate, refocus, and grow as a player and a person, while gaining a greater sense of confidence, ownership, and dignity in who I am and what I do. With the state of everything right now, I've had a lot of conversations with friends regarding maybe their state of mind, maybe their practice routines, maybe what they're doing right now, how they're spending their time, and I wanted to start talking about it in my videos. One of the easiest reasons when you're trying to think of why should I even bother practicing is you go back to maybe the beginning states of your practicing. The first few years of your playing where, at least for me, it was I would listen to a new guitarist or band or whatever and go, wow, that's amazing. I've never heard anything like that. Let me try to be able to do it. Every new technique was, what is tapping? What is sweeping? What is anything? And it would be one of those things where I'd be like, I just have to be able to do it. And that was it. I would go see people play in front of a big audience and I was like, gigs are gonna come and they're one day and it'll be great. But that was sweeping. What is that? I need to be able to do that. And it was about really absorbing all that was guitar, all that was music, all that was, all these different genres. And it was about absorption and really just appreciating it and loving it and wanting to be better at it and have a better understanding of it. I understand I'm not like 17 anymore, but I can get back to that mindset a little bit in the sense that generally I would play commercial music, popular music. There's a big part of me that loves very esoteric music, or like the entire genre of jazz. I found out in the beginning, everything being canceled, that I don't really need to go over like a Demi Lovato song right now. Like I remember it. I don't think the top 40 list is changing while we're in this. But I also do happen to love things. I just heard at the beginning, Jonathan Kreisberg's My Favorite Things. He has a solo rendition of it. It took me a second to learn, and I was hardly mastering it. But I remember feeling that same kind of enjoyment I had when I was first starting of like, I don't know, this seems like a mountain that I will not be able to climb, and then just chipping away day after day and being like, hey, I can kind of do it. And it felt inspiring, and it felt that level of joy that comes from just doing something for the love. So trying to focus on that has been really helpful for me. And I think could be helpful for a lot of people too, because it just it does take a little bit of a mindset shift though. If you've been gigging for a while and all those are just done now, and you've been someone who needs to learn a musical and then needs to learn this set list and then that set list, your practice regimen has been very gig oriented and goal oriented and like finite. Like I need to finish this, I need to get that, I need to get that. And this is, hey, you want to learn a solo? You want to learn some solo guitar? You could. When do you need to learn it by? As soon as you want. Like, you have to put those own time restrictions on yourself. So, but it can be fun, and I would highly suggest thinking about it. Speaking to esoteric music, I know a lot of people who have been to any kind of music college and then graduate go, wow, I got to play speed metal followed by 70s fusion, followed by shred, like, Steve Vai stuff, followed by like Middle Eastern music, followed by Japanese music, followed by, any kind of music at all. There's like a professor on it, there's books on it, there's an ensemble for it, anything. There's all different kinds of things. And then you graduate and maybe like a lot of people, you join like a cover band, and which the music is fine and the music is great. If your players in your band are really good, it's even more fun. That whole window, all those genres, you don't get to play them anymore. You don't get to even try to play them anymore. So a lot of people appreciate the college music experience for that reason. I realized that because a lot of musicians are trying to make the most of this online life we live now, there's a lot of what is basically a college experience available for very cheap. So there's like play along tracks and then solos all tabbed out, or music or whatever, and the video of them playing it from all these famous artists. Like, if you want to play funk fusion, There's a funk fusion playlist of play-alongs with a bunch of solos for you to learn to play over them. That honestly is no different than a college ensemble experience right now, especially where everything is online. You're going to still get a lot from it, and you're going to still be able to play, kind of out there music and still grow and have a community, especially because a lot of those play along packs, have people hashtagging like, hey, I learned something from this, I learned something from this. And you can end up in kind of a community of like, hey, did you enjoy that? It's just DMing everyone that that enjoys stuff you do. This kind of time that we're in now is also a wonderful time to explore new things. For instance, I might be exploring new things with different genres I don't normally get to play, but I'm also obviously exploring YouTube. I've learned so much about Final Cut. I've learned so much about how much better this mic sounds versus the one in my phone. Editing, it's been a lot of me yelling at my computer, but it's definitely given me something to do, and it's the fact that anyone watches it at all and anyone enjoys it at all is fantastic to me, and I love just the fact that I get to talk with people about issues I like talking about anyway. Again, this was born out of me talking about this stuff with my friends. One night I was kind of like, oh, that could be a YouTube thing. And that was it. Trying to make the most of it. It certainly gives me a task every week. I learn a little bit more about Final Cut or editing or whatever every single week. And if it is a huge failure at some point, fine, I'll just delete it. And the responsibility I feel to have to put one out every week is kind of really welcome. It was what driving to like the little lesson place every week was. Now I just do all those online. It was what driving to gigs was. It's a thing I have to get done and that I can learn from. So for that, I've been really thankful. And again, thank you so much to everyone who watches. It's incredibly encouraging and it's super heartwarming to talk to all you guys. That's just me getting lucky, as far as I can tell, with the little fun little activity I gave myself having any kind of impact on anyone. I consider myself very lucky for that. One of the really wonderful things that I think that this time could be used for is because there's a past, right? There's pre-COVID and there's a future post-COVID. And then there's this just really long present. It's just like present tense elongated. A lot of times in, my little career, and I think a lot of people during any of their lives also, as well as careers, look back and go, hindsight was 2020. Shoot, I should have done this, or that was a better route to go down. I can't believe I didn't do that. And it's really hard to switch paths or switch directions while you're still moving forward. Life is kind of frozen for a lot of us right now. So if you look back and you critique your existence so far, your career so far, now you have a weird, wonderful, frozen in time scenario where you could possibly gain enough skills in another area or work toward and develop a plan to succeed in another area. If I wanted to be a really good recording engineer or something like that, now would be the time to get good at it. So when everything opens back up and I can go network, I'm a really good engineer. Taking a look back at some of your successes, some of your failures, what you could have done differently, now's the time to do that and to plan for your future so you can hit the ground running when everything opens up. It is an unbelievably rare opportunity and hardship, but one that we can make some positive things come from. Thanks very much to everyone who watches. Please ask questions. Please send me things. As some of you have been reaching out on Instagram, that's great. I very much appreciate you guys giving me people to interact with and giving me a reason to make more videos and everything like that. Thanks very much. I'll see you guys next week.